Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Jill's Jingle Journal. I asked on my Instagram for people to send me Panto related questions, and so I thought I'd take this evening to do that. We've had two shows today. We had a 10:30 show and a 2 o'clock show, and I've just got home. It's now 5 o'clock, and I thought this would be just a nice episode for you guys to just grab a cup of tea and just have a lovely chilled time. The lighting is pretty terrible, so apologies for that. Okay, cup of tea secured. I actually haven't looked at these at all, so they're going to be a little bit random. Okay, how many shows do you guys do a week? We do 12 shows, and I think we even have a 14 show week in there somewhere. It's almost always 2 shows a day, and sometimes it's 3. I think every week we have 1 3-show day, I think, and we have 1 day off a week. Do you dance much in this panto? I do very little dancing in this panto, so it's very strange for me. Obviously, I'm a dancer by trade, I was going to say then, but like dancing is my thing first and foremost, so it's very odd to not be dancing that much. But I have my big opening number, which I dance quite a lot in, and then we have like one of the last songs in the show, which is Dance the Night, where I do a little bit of dancing, but it's not much at all. Are there any theatre traditions that are special to pantos? So there are lots of rules about panto, which I think I'm going to do another episode on, because I have no idea about any of these rules before this experience now, and I've been acting for a long time, so I'm going to do a whole video on that. It's really, really interesting, especially if it's a traditional panto. You will follow all of those rules, so I'm going to do a video on that. One that I can think of off the top of my head is at the very end of a panto, there's like rhyming couplets, and you don't say them until the very first performance, not even on the dress rehearsal. So the first time saying those lines is the very first performance. If you could play another character in Mother Goose, what would it be and why? I think I would really like to try out doing the comic character. So in our panto, that's called Sammy, and Sammy's my brother. It's like called the Silly Billy character, the comic or whatever. I think I'd really, really enjoy doing that. How does a panto audition work? They work a lot like usual auditions. For my role, because it's a singing and acting part, I guess, I didn't have to dance at all. It was just sort of a bonus that I could dance when we got to rehearsals. I've never done a audition for a job where they haven't wanted me to dance, so that was pretty weird, and there was only 2 rounds. My favourite costume is probably my end outfit. It's so cute. It's gold and it's got the puffy sleeves and the tunic, classic, but it's really, really cute. Do you miss doing musicals, or do you think pantos are more your thing? To be honest, I love both. My first experience of doing a panto has been pretty good. I'm with a really great company. I know sometimes pantos can be done on a really small budget, or a company that's really big and you're kind of like a small fish, whereas this company I feel really, really comfortable in and like appreciated, if that makes sense. I do love doing panto, and I would definitely do a panto again, but I think the preference is always to do musicals. Like if I could do a musical over Christmas, then that would probably be the job that I would take. However, panto is really pretty good money for a short period of time, so if you're out of work, then definitely a panto is one to do, and this one has been really, really good fun to do. How long is the show for a panto? Also love your videos, you're a star. Thank you so much. Our panto is 2.5 hours long with the interval included, so it's about 2 hours, but then with the interval it ends up being about 2.5 hours. How much do you get paid for pantos? Is it the same as West End or tour pay? So yeah, I just said that it is really good pay. Obviously you are working your bum off for that pay, and it's around about similar to West End ensemble pay for my panto that I'm doing, but I work for a very, very good company, and I know that is very, very rare to get good pay, especially in smaller regional theatres and smaller panto companies. The biggest difference between panto and MT, I had to learn a lot, I mean a lot, to navigate this panto experience. Obviously everything is over the top. You're speaking to the audience, which you never do in MT really, unless you're like a narrator or something. There's certain like inflections that you need to do to allow the audience to like speak back to you. And in panto, obviously you're doing 12 show weeks, so you're having to protect your voice but also be energetic. Whereas MT, you're much more specific to your show and your character, if you know what I mean. Does it feel weird doing it in January or not really? Always wondered. PS, love ya. Love ya. So I actually don't know, because obviously I've not done it in January yet, but I think our Panto in particular is not that Christmassy. We do have the 12 days of Christmas in it, but we don't sing any more Christmas songs, or we don't say Merry Christmas or anything like that. So for our Panto, I think it will be fine, other than 12 days of Christmas. But yeah, I imagine that is pretty weird doing like a Christmassy show post-Christmas. Is it hard settling into a different type of show? Absolutely, especially when I'm surrounded by pretty much everyone who's done Pantos before, but it just meant that I had loads of people to copy and learn from, and it's great. I love a challenge, so yeah, it is different, but I've really loved it. Can you explain a little bit more about how a Panto works, like with the audience interaction? Yeah, so what I was saying the other day is that I'm the first person to interact with the audience, so I'll say, hello everyone, and they probably won't say it back because it's the first time that anybody's asked them to shout or whatever. And I say, I said, hello everyone, and then they tend to go, hello. And I say, my brother Sammy's here somewhere, have you seen him? And they shout, no, yes, or whatever. So it is kind of just like looking out into the audience and trying to have a moment with like everyone in the audience, I guess. It's really, really fun. What makeup products did you use for your character part in Pantoland? I've literally just put out a video on that, so you will have already seen that when this goes out. What's your favourite part of the show to watch or perform? It is definitely the slosh with the Dame and with silly Sammy. It is absolutely hilarious, you know, when you're crying of laughter and you can't get your breath like that. That's how funny it is. It's really, really good. You'll have to come and watch. How long are your usual Panto days? So when we have a 10:30 show, the warm-up will be at 9:30. We do have shows at 10, so like 9 a.m. And if we have 3 shows, we won't finish until 10:30. So it's like maximum 13-hour days, but then sometimes we'll have only 2 shows, like today where I did 9:30 till 5, and then sometimes we do just have 1 show in the evening, so that will be like a 6 o'clock warm up for a 7 p.m. show, finish at about 10:30. What's your favourite thing about doing a Panto? I like that I have so much free reign and I can do, within reason, pretty much anything that I like on stage to sort of play around, entertain people. And yeah, I just like that it's not too serious. You can just really have a laugh. Is the schedule hard because I'm about to start Panto and I'm so nervous? Yes. Honestly, like when you wake up at 8 a.m. and you've got to put a full slap of makeup on, it's not the one. It's really not the one. But as soon as you get out there and you see all the kids and they're jumping up and down and they're shouting back to you and they're really having a really good time, I think you just sort of forget the tiredness and your body just takes over. But the schedule is really, really hard. But I think it's just because I'm not used to it. Obviously, I'm used to 8 shows and not 12. How is it being able to manage your curls? I've noticed you're not wigged. I also got another question that was like, what's your curly hair routine like for the shows? It's annoying. It's annoying because I have to wash it more often than I would before, because I have to have it out and it has to look nice every day, whereas, you know, before I would just slick it back when it got dirty and then it doesn't matter because it's going under a wig, so whatever. And to style it every day, I literally just get up out of bed, and if it needs it, I'll put some curl cream in it or some gel or something, but I don't do anything much really. I just hope and pray that it'll be all right when I wake up in the morning. How is it different from being in the West End? It's a shorter commute. Cambridge is obviously very different from London. It feels very like small town, cutesy, wholesome, whereas London is obviously a massive city. It's different from the West End because you don't have people that you know in the audience every single day. So it feels like less pressure in that respect because, you know, I don't really know anybody in Cambridge and there's only a few people that would come and travel and see me in Cambridge. So going out there to an audience that I don't really know anybody is quite nice. It's quite low pressure, whereas in London you go out there knowing that there's probably someone there that knows you or has come to watch the show, or, you know, important people for like your career or anything like that. So yeah, the pressure is lower here, but of course I don't have any of my friends here. So, you know, before a show in London, I would go and I'd meet my friends for a coffee and da-da-da-da-da. Whereas here, I'm very much in the Cambridge bubble and I've got my Panto friends and that's all. How long are you doing the run for? The run is until the 7th of January, so please do come and watch if you're local. I think it's going to fly by now. We've literally got like a month left as I'm recording this. Anyway, that's all the questions I've got. If you've got any more questions, please do comment them below and I'll get them answered for you. Thank you so much for joining me and I hope you have a wonderful week.